Ciao amici, bentornati, welcome back to Learn Italian for Travel. Sono Danielle, la vostra insegnante di italiano. I'm Danielle, your Italian teacher. And oggi la lezione è su questo e quello. The lesson today is on questo, meaning this, and quello, meaning that. And we're also going to talk about the plural forms, these and those. So these are both very valuable words. This apple, that carrot, these zucchini, those asparagus. So we're going to be talking about food today. So we'll give you some vocabulary for food. And we're going to pretend that we're at the market, okay? Siamo al mercato. Because you can use questo and quello a lot to make requests for things. So you can point to things and you can say this, whatever it is you're talking about, or you can say that, whatever thing you're talking about. So think of questo and the forms of questo in reference to things that are nearby to where you are, things that are closer. And then think of quello as things that are further away. So you're saying those or that and those. So we're going to start with questo because it's easier. There are only 4 forms. Actually, there's a modification too for the singular forms. So when you go to the market, I want to point this out, whether it's the fruit and vegetable market or the supermarket, and there's produce all around. In Italy, it's not polite or customary for you to pick up the produce or whatever you want with your own hands. So if you go to the supermarket, you're going to find plastic gloves for you to put on for you to select your produce. And it makes sense because our hands are so dirty and we can spread a lot of germs with our touching everything. So just make sure you put on the gloves if you go to the supermarket. And then if you go to the market, the outdoor market, it's the same thing. You're not going to grab the things that you want. You're going to ask, and then the shopkeeper will fill up your bag for you with whatever it is that you want. And also at the market, most likely you're going to be buying things based on weight. So un kilo or mezzo kilo, a kilogram or half a kilogram. But for the sake of the lesson today, we're just going to be using questo and quello. We're not going to be using un kilo or un mezzo kilo. So when you go to the market, then the person, the shop or the market vendor is probably going to say to you, buonasera, buongiorno, mi dica, tell me. So tell me what you want. So let's start off with questo, the forms of questo. So if you want to say this peach, okay, pesca, those is the word for peach, and it's singular and it's feminine. So the form of questo has to agree with pesca. So you would say, questa pesca, per favore. It's always nice to put a please on the end of requests that you make, and then it's a legitimate way to ask for something nicely. For the sake of this lesson, I won't keep repeating per favore, but just remember when you're in Italy making requests, always say please, per favore. Okay, so questa pesca, per favore, this peach. And then if you want to make that plural and say these peaches, then you're going to just change both of them, the noun and the form of questo, into the feminine plural form. So you would say queste pesche, queste pesche. So remember the grammar rule that when a noun ends in a ca or a go or a ga, when you make it plural, you have to add an h to keep that hard sound. So pesca, pesche, but when you write it out, it includes the H. Va bene? So that is a singular feminine noun. If we have a singular feminine noun that starts with a vowel, per esempio, albicocca. I love this word for this fruit. It's apricot. Albicocca, okay? So when you have questo in front of a noun that's singular, whether it's feminine or masculine, you're going to just drop that final vowel. And this is all for flow. Because if you have 2 vowels together, like if we said questa albicocca, you have to pause as you're talking and the flow is sort of interrupted. So in order to keep that flow and the the nice rhythm of the language, because Italian is so beautiful, you can drop that A from questa and put an apostrophe and say quest'albicocca, quest'albicocca. And so if you've been studying Italian, you've noticed that this happens frequently. Per esempio, the indefinite article una is the feminine form, and if it's in front of a vowel and you're saying a whatever, a car, for example, un'automobile, it's feminine, but because automobile starts with a vowel, you're going to cut off the A and you add an apostrophe. So you say, instead of una automobile, un'automobile. Va bene? So same thing with questo in its forms of the singular form. You're not going to cut off questo, though, the vowel in the plural forms. Although you might hear it sometimes, it's not as common. So just think about the cutting off of the vowels in the feminine and masculine singular forms. Va bene? So then if we said quest'albicocca, when we make that plural, we do include the vowel on the end of questo, and it's feminine plural. So if we want to say these apricots, we would say queste albicocche, queste albicocche. And notice that albicocca, just like pesca, ends in a CA. It ends in a double CA. That double C doesn't make any difference other than that you're going to rest slightly longer on that sound of the C. So you would say albicocca, okay, because of the two C's. But then when you make it plural, again, you have to add an H. So queste albicocche with the H, la H. Okay, va bene? So let's look at the masculine forms. And if you're noticing now, if you've been studying Italian, you know that the standard rule is that if it ends in a noun or an adjective, because adjectives describe nouns, that it's going to be feminine singular. And then if it ends in, and that's going to change to E in the plural. So for the masculine singular form, usually it ends in O, and then it will change to I in the plural. However, there are those exception words that end in E. So we're going to start with one of those for the masculine singular form. So we're going to look at the noun peperone. Peperone is the word for, not pepperoni that you put on pizza like we do here, the pork that we put on our pizza in America, but it's a bell pepper, but it ends in an E, but it's still masculine. So because it starts with a consonant, we're not going to cut off that vowel. And so when we say this bell pepper, we would say questo peperone, questo peperone. And I hope you're repeating after me at home so you can get the flow, the sound of the language. And so when we make that plural, then the O changes to an I. So to say these bell peppers, we say, see if you can get it, questi pepperoni, questi pepperoni. Did you get it? Bravi, benissimo. So now if we have a noun that is masculine and starts with a vowel, and we want to say this, or whatever that noun is, we'll do the same thing that we did in the feminine form where we cut off the O and replace it with an apostrophe for better flow. So we'll take the word asparago, asparago, asparagus, and you might see it written sometimes asparago, but we'll just do the form ending in O. So we would say quest'asparago, quest'asparago. Remember that when the G is followed by an O, it has a hard sound. Because now, when we make the G plural, it's going to change sounds. So if we want to say these asparagus, plural, and asparagus singular, I guess you would be referring to one of the stems, quest'asparago, and then if you're referring to all them together, you would make it plural. So these asparagus. We have the same word in English for both singular and plural. So we would say questi asparagi, questi asparagi. So when the G is followed by an I, it sounds like J. Va bene? Tutto a posto? Bene. So questo is easy, right? There's just 4 forms, and then if it's feminine or masculine, starts with a vowel, just cut off that final vowel, add an apostrophe, and let it flow like that. So andiamo avanti. Now we're going to look at the word quello. So there's 4 forms of quello that you can use just like questo, okay? So, but the forms of quello, which end exactly like questo do, so if it's feminine singular, you're going to say quella. If it's feminine plural, you would say quelle. If it's masculine singular, you would say quello. And if it's masculine plural, you would say quelli. So you're only going to use those 4 forms like that when you're referring to something and you don't include the noun. So you're not going to, because the form of quello is going to change when it's preceding a noun. I'll talk about that in a minute. So, for example, if you're referring to the albicocca singular that's over there and you just want to say that, okay, you would say quella just by itself. If you're referring to the plural peaches, okay, le pesche that are over there, but you're not including the word pesche, you would just say quelle. So if you're referring to l'aspargo, the asparagus that's over there just by itself, you would say quello. And then if you're referring to the pepperoni, the plural bell peppers that are over there, you would just say quelli. Does that make sense? So that's just to point things out. Sì, quelli per favore, va bene? But this is where it gets a little complicated. When you do include the noun, there are 7 different forms of quello, and they have to do with the definite article. So remember from learning about the definite article that there are 7 different ways to say the in Italian. So quello is going to combine with the definite article to form new versions of quello. The adjective bello does the same thing, if you've seen that. So we're just going to focus on quello today, though. So I have in my book, I have it all laid out in this chart. If you might want to see it written down. So my book, The ABCs of Italian Travel, all of this information, I don't know how to show it best, is written in here because I know it's kind of hard to digest all of this just in a video. But So think of quello in terms of the definite article. So let's review the definite articles really quickly. I'm not going to talk about why you use them. I'm just going to tell you what they are just to refresh your memory. So remember that the 3 singular masculine ways to say the are il, lo, and l'apostrophe. When you make il plural, it becomes I. When you make lo and l'apostrophe plural, they become li. And remember that li is from the back of your throat. It's not from the tip of your tongue. Li. It's li. So then there are 2 feminine singular articles, definite articles, la and l'apostrophe. It's l'apostrophe, whether it's a singular feminine noun or a singular masculine noun that start with a vowel. And then there's only one plural, feminine plural, and it's le. Okay, so those are all of the articles. So now I'm going to give you the words for fruits and vegetables at the market, and we're going to put the correct form of quello in front of that noun. So let's take the example. We'll start with the feminine. Okay, so let's say the word for strawberry, fragola. Okay, so if you want to say that strawberry, you would say quella fragola. Quella fragola. Va bene? Facile, see? They both end in A, and all you do is take quello and change it, convert it to the feminine form, which is what we did earlier. So if the word is feminine, singular, and it starts with a vowel, like we already did albicocca. So how about arancia? Arancia is the word for orange. So you want to say that orange. You're going to say quell'arancia. Quell'arancia. Va bene? So with the apostrophe attached, so it flows better. And then when you make both of those plural, there's only one choice. It's just quello ending in E, and it agrees with the noun. So you would say then for those strawberries, quelle fragole, and for those oranges, quelle arance. Va bene? Okay, so it's not that hard, right? Well, the feminine nouns are actually easier than the masculine nouns. So now let's go to the masculine nouns. They're just a little bit more complicated. So let's take the word for tomato. We use tomatoes all the time when we're cooking Italian food, right? So the word for tomato is pomodoro. Pomodoro, okay, that's masculine singular. The article is il. So to say that tomato, quello combined with il forms the word quel. So you to say that tomato, you say quel pomodoro. Quel pomodoro. Va bene? And then when we make that plural, that remember the il changes to an I for the definite article plural. So quel becomes quei. Not quelli, it's quei. So it might take a little bit of time for you to get used to that word. It might not sound right to you. You might want to say quelli, but it's not correct. So those tomatoes, quei pomodori. Quei pomodori, va bene? Okay? So then if the word starts, if it takes the article lo, that's the most easy because the form is just going to be quello. That's the article that goes in front of nouns that start with a Z or S plus a consonant that are masculine. So a great vegetable in Italy, we eat them here, would be a zucchino. Okay? Zucchino is the word for squash. We just say zucchini here in America, but one zucchino, that's the singular. So you would say, for that squash, you would say, quello zucchino. Quello zucchino. And then if you make that plural, remember the lo becomes li. So then the form of quello is quelli. Quelli. And so you have that GLI sound again. And again, it's more from the back of your throat. Quelli zucchini. Quelli zucchini. Va bene? Okay, we're almost done actually. So now the last word would be a word that starts with a vowel. And there's actually not a lot of Italian vegetables that are masculine singular that start with a vowel. So we're going to use asparago again. Okay, so to say that asparagus, you would say quell'asparago, quell'asparago. And then when you make it plural, see if you can figure out what it is. Because it does, remember the lo and the L apostrophe form the same plural article, and it's li. So it's quelli asparagi. Quelli asparagi. Va bene? I know this is a lot of information, and so you might need to watch this a couple of times. I'd recommend looking at words, looking at the book if you have the book, seeing it written out, and remember that quello is only modified like that when it comes right before the noun. So if you're just using it on its own, there's just the four forms like questo, okay? So hopefully this helps you out, especially when you're out shopping at the market, or if you're in a bar or cafe and you're requesting something. It's easy to point at things in a shop and say questo o quello. Va bene? Allora, buono studio e grazie per essere tornati al mio canale. Thanks for returning to my channel. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll keep posting new videos for you. And if you have requests for any new videos, just let me know in the comments and I'll make that for you. Okay? Grazie, a presto. Ciao.